Joined by Olga Krasnyak. She's an associate professor at the Higher School of Economics in Moscow. Welcome back to the program, Olga. Now, with Russia now providing 44 billion cubic meters of gas annually, is China becoming too reliant on Moscow, or is this a calculated move to secure energy away from US monitored sea lanes?
Well, I cannot say that China will be somehow too dependent on Russia because considering Chinese national interests, they try to diversify the countries where they buy energy sources. Of course, it's not just only Russia. Even Russia, it's one of the top partners. It's also Venezuela, which we have the intensification of relations between the United States and Venezuela. I'd also Arab countries of the Persian Gulf. It's also Australia. So, but we understand and we should keep in mind that China diversifies its energy sources, and Russia just cannot be excluded from the global market because Russia is one of the key producers of energy. And without energy, we cannot say, well, we cannot imagine that the economy would work. So, and in this case, we understand that Russia's position is very important position and on the global energy market, and it's just impossible just to exclude Russia from it.
And if 99% of trade between Russia and China is now settled in yuan and rubles, has the West effectively lost its primary leverage of using the US dollar to police global energy markets?
Well, it's a really good question because what we see de-dollarization of the global economy, of the world economy. It's basically making an alternative, creating an alternative in transnational payments. And we also understand that for us, for Russia, it is the only option because we've been cut off from SWIFT system, from the financial system as controlled by the United States and other Western countries. And here is the only option for us to create alternative ways to make all this payment possible. For China as well, it's just only an option, and I think it's a very viable option. Why? It's about to minimize the dependence of a global financial system as controlled by Western countries. And I think China definitely takes an approach to have alternative ways. And like I said, for Russia, it is the only option given the fact of huge economic sanctions.
Now, the Power of Siberia 2 pipeline is set to provide an additional 50 billion cubic meters over the next decade. Does this project permanently cement a no-limits energy alliance that no future Western sanctions can break?
Oh, indeed, it is something what is outside of, let's say, Western control or Western concern, or even they have certain concerns, but definitely they will not be Western countries. They will not be able to somehow to impact, to have some negative effects on Russian. Chinese energy relations, and so this pipeline, well, they set up to some global projects which would have a huge importance for two countries. But also we need to understand that, of course, China is developing very fast, but this economic growth is also somehow slowing down. It's just like a natural processes based on a very rapid economic growth, and then we see some slowing down of some elements of it. But nonetheless, considering the fact that geographically we're close to China, and it seems just only natural to have these pipelines and to redirect these energy flows from Europe, from the west to the east to China. So for Russia, it is the option, and the only probably option now just to redirect these financial energy flows.
Now, recent data shows that Russian LNG exports to China doubled to 1.6 million tons in November. How much of this surge is being fueled by secret shipping routes designed to bypass G7 price caps?
Well, it's hard to say because I do not believe we would find a reliable statistics or very concrete information about this. We can only guess because China does not publish its statistics, so Russia does not publish its statistics. Something what we know is that this trade relations between Russia and China, as President Putin recently said, so it's about 200 and 50 billion dollars. So we can just only estimate. So how exactly all these things are happening, and this shadow fleet definitely plays a key role, but we cannot just know for sure. So about the capacity, about the volume or the amount of how it was shipped.
Olga Krasnyak in Moscow, thank you very much for your analysis.